Hello and welcome to Back to the Frame Rates May wrap up. This is a monthly episode that we do to recap prior month. And this was quite a month because we did the entire Mad Max retrospective, the whole saga, culminating in Furiosa, which came out a week ago. And this is going to be a fun episode because we have some final on the saga and reflections on it. And we're going to rank the franchise. And also, we have some awards and superlatives to give out. Any thoughts before we begin this? Hello.
I just want to say this was the best box office ever in the history of cinema. May was on fire, and we at Back to the Frame Rate were there to witness this incredible. What can I say? Scorcher.
Yeah. You know what is funny? Before we get to this, I see so much, not so much hate, but like so many people are just kind of like, just digging at Furiosa for its poor box office. But you know what? It's the entire box office. And I hope that Hollywood is not just looking at Furiosa as like, oh, this movie bombed. Every movie is bombing right now. So I am hopeful that they will realize this is not isolated to this movie or any of these movies that are coming out this month. This is something that is a global thing that's going on, or a thing that's happening right now. And eventually, it probably will turn around at some point. They'll crack the code, and hopefully people will return, or they'll figure out a way to get people back in. But right now, people are not going to the theater for one reason or another. I have theories about the window that movies are coming to streaming and VOD so fast. That's one of my thoughts on it. But I hope that Hollywood doesn't think like, oh, no more Mad Max movies because nobody's going out. It's bigger than that.
And if we choose movies that are going to be bellwethers, maybe we don't choose the Legacy prequel 9 years later with none of the original stars.
Yeah, I feel like it's a marketing thing too. And I also think there's this saying going around in Hollywood and movie theaters called survive till 25 because of the writer's strike. All the movies have shifted, big titles into 2025. But I do think that this has been a trend this month in May, but I also think it has to do with the titles, just the movies themselves. Like maybe people were less interested. I do think this box office of this summer will improve, and I can understand if people disagree, but I think I have a feeling Bad Boys, Ride or Die is going to open well. I'm just talking box office. I think it could do that, and then A Quiet Place Year One. I see hope for this summer, so. I don't think it's all doom and gloom, but I'm always an optimist. We'll see. Time will tell.
We'll see. Maybe when we get to our June wrap up, we can look back and see what happens. Well, let's get awards, superlatives for the Mad Max franchise. And my apologies, I recycled some of our categories from last month when we did our Christopher Nolan retrospective, but I think there's some fun ones in here. We can kind of see as we go. But I think the obvious one we have to do is best villain. Well, it doesn't have to be the main villain. It can be any of the villains on that from this franchise. Yep. Good here. Who would like to begin? We'd just rock, paper, scissors this. I don't care who begins.
I think B would like to begin. Right, B?
Thanks, Sam. You've heard me say for the last 4 or 5 shows that I think this franchise has a villain problem. That being said, I love Toe Cutter. I never got over Toe Cutter, but Dementus came pretty close.
Yeah.
Sam. Punch.
So, and forgive me, I'm a complete moron because I've been running around today, but I forgot the rules. Does that mean that I can't pick the same villain now?
No,
or
this isn't a draft. No.
Okay.
No,
gotcha.
No rules.
There's wow.
No rules.
What would the world be like? What would the world be like? No, so I got to be honest. It has to be Toe Cutter for me as well, because it's just his presence. And then one of my favorite lines in all the Mad Maxes with his sarcasm, where he's like, I hate guns. And the way he delivers that is like perfect bad guy. I really like I do like the villains in The Road Warrior, but I just think Toe Cutter, he's more in a mythic place for me.
Well, we're going to go 3 for 3 here. I also went with Toe Cutter. Runner up though was
Tina Turner.
Other Mad Max villain, Immortan Joe, who I think is terrific. I think Tina Turner is a weak character. Lord Humongous and Wes look cool, but there's not much to their characters. And I've already said last week that I think Dementus's character, I thought would have been stronger if he was a little bit more of an enigma. But I gotta stick with the OG, Toe Cutter, because he's so theatrical and enigmatic, and he's just full of chaos.
Yeah.
And I think he's the scariest of them all because he's just so unpredictable. So
he feels so real. When he goes after the wife's ice cream, that for me is the moment from the original Mad Max that sticks in my mind so clearly.
Yes.
He's scary too. He's like a real life like psychopath or like just like very
because he's also rooted in the real world. This is before the apocalypse. So that's what kind of makes him scary, because this guy exists in a world that we kind of live in to some degree. I mean,
and relatable terror. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's in a bar somewhere and there's a woman covering her drink.
All right. Let's move on to our next category. I think we can all agree this is a good one. Best vehicle. And this could be anything that flies or drives.
The gyrocopter is not even a question. What are we doing? It's the gyrocopter.
Gyrocopter. Okay. Sam, you look.
So I gotta say, my answer surprises me, because usually I would go for like, something from like the earlier films, but I gotta say, specifically in Fury Road,
I like Fury Road.
Fury Road. Or how about Furiosa? Hey, I still got it. No, I would definitely have to go with the war rig in Fury Road, because we spend so much time with it, and it's one of the vehicles that lasts a surprising amount of time and does not get destroyed, as is often the case with a lot of vehicles in these films. And you get to just see how it's operated, and like Charlize Theron's like trick for starting it, and it's just I just feel like I've been with that vehicle more than others, even though I love many of them. It's a tough choice, but I have to say that.
I liked in Furiosa how we learned a little bit more about how it was designed, the practicality of what went where. I thought that was cool too.
Good pick, Sam, because I also went with that. But, honorable mention, of course, I had to go with the Pursuit Special, Mad Max's car, because if there ever was a vehicle in the series that I don't know, I think it's not featured enough. I wanted more from it. But, the Warwick has its own personality, and I feel that truck is just a beast. And hearing your story from a few weeks ago, Sam, where there's Moby Dick references to that, where there's whale sounds added to it. It made me love it even more. So I'm in awe of the war rig.
If we ever get the Wasteland movie, maybe that could be Mad Max's like car survives all of the film, because that would be great. Wow. If we ever get to it, I don't know. I'm optimist. I'm forever an optimist.
Okay, so this is where I kind of recycled some of our awards from the past month, but
we know
I have
kind of liked it.
Our sidekick award. What character would you want to go into battle with?
Charlize's Furiosa.
Furiosa. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. Okay, that's fine. No explanation needed. Sam.
Yeah, I mean, she's badass.
Oh my God. I don't know how to, I'll be honest. Sometimes you just don't think, the first thing that came to my head right away, I got to say, the gyro captain, because he might not be like the strongest, but he's like clever, and he throws snakes at people. So like, he'd be cheerful about it. Like if we were going to die, he'd like still be smiling, and that would help, Yeah. But I don't know. This is a tough choice, but gyro
he would bring some levity to the team. Good old sense.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
This is a tough choice. I'm going a little unconventional. I'm going with a character that we did not talk about enough last week.
Are you going to say Nux?
No, but I was incredibly impressed with the skills of a character named Mary Jabasa, Furiosa's mother from Furiosa, Mad Max Saga.
Yeah.
I know I sort of shit on this movie a little bit, but it's been growing on me the more I think about it. And there's so many incredible characters in this film. But one of those standouts was Furiosa's mom. So much that I wouldn't even mind a movie about her character.
Yeah.
Now, I know that will probably never happen based on the box office, but maybe a limited series would be really cool. I don't know. Anyways.
Like I said, that opening chase, I think, is one of the more interesting Mad Max chases.
That opening chase is like my favorite I just love it. And my favorite in the whole film, I think. Yeah, I loved it.
But Mary Jabasa, Furiosa's mom, could kick all our asses. She's incredible. Yeah. So next, this I'm calling the Wingman Wingwoman Award. And this is an award. Well, what character would you want to be your wingman on a date?
That's a really good question. Man, on a date, that I probably would have to go. No, I'm not going to do that. I was going to say gyro captain, but no, I'm not going to do that. Nux. You know why? Because I think Nux is like, he just is so devout and loyal, and he really like, he's someone who quickly evangelizes sort of whatever side he's on. So I can see him really talking me up to whomever I need him to.
I like that. Sam, what do you got?
I'm going to have to go in a slightly comedic direction and say a Master Blaster. Because I think it would be wondrous fun if like they were my wingmen at a bar and like Master was shouting like, Sam, go talk to her. She nice. Go talk now. I'd be like, okay, this is amusing. So maybe not the best choice in the world, but like Master Blaster.
I'd be worried he might scare off some of the ladies. I don't know.
That's the thing. It would be kind of a problem, but it would certainly be a memorable evening.
Well, if someone stuck around, that's a real one.
Yeah.
For me, no doubt, I bring Goose along from the first Mad Max film. He's funny, outgoing, probably tells some great jokes. I could really picture a fun night out on the town with Goose. He'd definitely buy a couple rounds of drinks for sure.
Yeah,
Goose is awesome. Yes.
Yeah,
that's a good choice.
That's a realistic choice. I was going for the laugh.
I want to redo.
I don't know how to be funny. I'm sorry. All right, this is kind of a serious one here. This is kind of an award for a good performance. That's a little underrated here. Who is the scene? We're giving this one to it's called the Scene Stealer Award, and this is wide open because there's so many performances in here that this could go to. So it's just somebody who steals the scene in any of these movies here that doesn't maybe get the appropriate recognition.
Yeah, actually, Nathan, for this, I had Furiosa's mother. Yeah, I mean, just such a powerful performance. One of my favorite, most innovative chase sequences we've seen. Total dedication. And she, to me, sort of captures the energy of Charlize Theron's Furiosa more than Anya Taylor-Joy's. So, huge fan.
Good. All right. Sam, what do you got?
Oh, my God. Well, the problem is, and he might not be enough of a character because he never speaks, but like he is a scene stealer. I'm talking about the guitar guy.
The Duke
Warrior.
Yeah, the Duke Warrior. Yeah. He's a scene stealer, but like he's, we don't know this character, but it's like the epitome of like what Mad Max is all about.
Buckethead of the Wasteland.
Yeah. Good pick. Mind Stealer Award goes to Wes from The Road Warrior. And I almost gave it to the Gyro Captain, but The Road Warrior is a very dour film, and even the color palette is quite muted, tans and browns. We didn't get the lush colors until these later movies, but there's one beacon of insanity in this film, and it's in the form of this character which looks like a rooster on crack. That blood red mohawk he dons, and every time Wes is on screen, we know something completely unhinged is going to happen, and he is my scene stealer because I love every moment that he's on screen.
This is such a hard category for these films because every character, no matter how small, is really fleshed out. Like I think of Road Warrior, I think of the Golden Youth.
Oh yeah,
that random
That's the thing.
pretty boy.
There's like 12,000 good scene stealer options in this franchise. Like there's so many.
It's the every frame of painting of good characters.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna, for time's sake, I'm gonna jump ahead here. This award I'm coining it, and we probably could think of a more PG name for this award, but I'm calling it the most fuck yeah moment award. I like
good. Yes.
All right.
Good.
Let's keep it at that. So I think this speaks for itself. If you've seen these movies, you know what we're talking about.
Okay, so I kind of have a tie, but they're very different kinds of fuck yes, and I couldn't decide. So maybe you two can help me here. I know this is kind of cheating. This is a bit of a cop-out, but I really couldn't pick. So my first one is Toe Cutter's death in the original Mad Max, the bulging eyes. It's the first time we really see that camera technique. I love that scene. It's, in a movie that I think can lull a little bit. It's awesome. But in my heart of hearts, I think it's the sandstorm scene in Fury Road.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the one, like, and when I think of the epicness of this franchise, you know, I want to pay homage to the older films, but God, Fury Road's such a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's go with your heart, B. You know, I mean, it sounds like you already know, but
fine. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's the sandstorm. All right. Sam, what's your fuck yeah moment?
I gotta be honest. There is one. Well, there's many in Fury Road, and it is awesome. But the ultimate choice I have to make, I have to go back to. I gotta say, for me, even though there are much higher octane action moments and much more fast paced, like wow factor moments, I love the huge helicopter shot of the whole road chase taking place in the Road Warrior when you see the gyro like captain in the sky as well. That just pullback moment of that chase. All those vehicles are there. There's no augmentation. It's just like, that's pure cinema to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a tough choice because Fury Road, like, is like, my God, you know, like the whole movie is a fuck yeah movie.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Sam, I agree with you 100%. That's my runner-up, but I'm going to one-up you because mine is a similar shot from Fury Road.
I knew you were going to one-up it. I knew it was going to happen, and it's the way of the Force. That the Force wills it. Yeah.
I mentioned this in Fury Road. I literally stood up in my seat and screamed out with excitement when I saw the war party for the first time beating their drums, going off to catch the war rig, and we sweep over the war boys and the drums, and we settle to reveal the Doof Warrior playing the flame-throwing double bass and framing it perfectly as the war party is seen behind them. There's actually one of those car transport vehicles off in the distance with more of the war party sitting on that, riding that. And it's like the thought and the composition of all of this is incredible. And I actually shouted in the theater when I saw this shot. I'm like, this is incredible. This is what Mad Max is to me. That's the whole franchise in a nutshell. Just the balls on this movie to give me that shot is incredible. So that is my award for that.
That is epic. That's like, yes, it is incredible. Yeah. So,
and I have one last one. We probably should have ended it with that, and maybe I'll swap these up in post. But I kind of like this award because this movie has so many incredible stunts, and I think we need to have an award for that. Now we could say like best stunt, but I want to call this someone should have died on the set award. And it could be your interpretation of the best stunt, or it could be, it could be the best stunt, or just like the most outlandish, where someone actually should have died from the stunt. But just submit to me what you think is something that just needs to be recognized for a stunt from the series.
For me, trying to remember like one stunt is hard.
It is.
There's like 1,000 stunts in these movies. So I kind of was just thinking the whole first movie. I mean, going back and watching the documentary of how the original was made, it's astounding that nobody was hurt. But I think especially all those motorcycle stunts that happen in the other ones, the jumps, the crashes into the big cars where you see them sort of break away, those breakaway stunts. Just, geez Louise.
Absolutely, yeah. Anything you want to submit, Sam?
It's like in terms of like danger level and like most spectacular, like life-threatening stunt. I don't know if this would be the one because they were really well organized, but I got to say the like pole vaulting in Fury Road when they're like, jumping, like literally jumping onto the truck. It's just amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
And I would say I hate to like a close second to that. The one I almost picked is just the when like motorcycles like are coming down the hill in Fury Road and they like literally jump over the truck. Like I don't know if that's augmented, but it just is amazing.
I'm also going with the polecat, Sam. There are a lot of options for this, but I went with that because he could have done that digitally, but opted to do it practically.
Exactly.
And those are real stuntmen pole vaulting from cars onto the war rig, which is incredible. And I'm sure there is some augmentation here and there. I mean, they probably weren't going super fast doing this, but they are really doing that. So it doesn't matter. It is incredible.
Yeah, it is amazing.
All right. So quickly, that is our awards. I want us to rank the franchise. And B, let's start with you.
Okay. So number one, I have to go with Fury Road. I just think it's a perfect movie. I could watch it over and over and over again. And I have, after that, I go for Road Warrior.
Yep.
Then probably the original Mad Max third. Then Furiosa, and then Thunderdome.
All right.
But Thunderdome's good. Like, that's, last place, but like, it's a pretty good movie. It's fine.
Sam, give us your 5.
So my 5 would be number 1 for me, just because the experience, the experience of first watching it as a kid. Number 1 would be Road Warrior. 2 would definitely be Fury Road. 3 would be Mad Max, the original, because that movie is just what it created is so classic and amazing. 4th would definitely be Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, and 5th would be Beyond Thunderdome. And I like Beyond Thunderdome, but like of those 5, it's definitely
the weakest.
Yeah.
All right. And for me is number 1 is Mad Max Fury Road, followed by 2, The Road Warrior. 3 is Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. That did slide into 3. And I know that I was kind of down on it a little bit, but as if you recall from our early episodes, I wasn't, completely sold on the first Mad Max. I thought there was some production problems with it. And it's good, but I don't love it. Mad Max was 4th. And of course, Beyond Thunderdome 5th. So I actually don't love Thunderdome. I think I gave that like a 2.5. I was pretty low on it.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
I remember, not remember, but I was going to say that like, I have a feeling that Furiosa might go up on my list, like with a second viewing, like, because it is, I'd rather watch it than the first Mad Max 79. It's just because it's so classic. It's hard to, it's like that, those movies may oscillate.
All right. So we've done our ranking. We've done our awards. I know I want to get to some other things before we're done, but any final thoughts on this? I mean, maybe we should just put a bow on this and we're done. Yeah.
I enjoy Mad Max films.
Okay.
Good movies. Yeah. I like them.
All right. I do hope that this is not the end. I do hope that we get to see more, but we shall see.
It's really interesting that this is what broke out of Australian New Wave cinema, and that of everything that came out of the country at that time, this is the thing that became the sensation. I'm grateful for that.
I think the one thing that we really touched on lightly, but not that much, is how influential these early movies were. The action in these, it really set the tone for a lot of films action in the 80s that Hollywood was trying to duplicate, and not always successfully. But as you can see, you watched a lot of Australian
I did.
New Wave.
I sure did.
So
power through a lot of that. It's not, but what's interesting is we talk about it in the context of its influence over Hollywood, but really Australian New Wave was reinvigorating Australians' love for old Hollywood, that sort of people weren't seeing those movies come out anymore. So in the context of that wave of cinema, we talk about George Miller. This one kind of seems like a silent film. This one seems like it could be sort of a Western. That's the wave of cinema that they were doing. They were emulating all those films that people stopped making.
Agreed. And Furiosa definitely had that like coming of age epic vibe, where it's like, this is like a saga for like through time, a saga film. I like that. Yeah.
Which I think speaks to how timeless those storytelling techniques are. When we think about film as a movement and its influences, we can always go back to these ways of telling story and trust that they're going to live on. Yeah.
Great. Well, let's put a bow on our Mad Max retrospective. That was a fun month. But we are
fun month.
Going to be transitioning into the month of June, where we are going to be featuring, our subject is June Pride, and we're going to be getting to that soon. But before we do that, we're going to just transition to Movie Musings, where we're going to just talk a little bit about some of the things that we've been watching the past month. And I will highlight a few things that I want to talk about. We don't have a lot of time tonight, but who would like to begin? I can begin first, or B, or Sam.
Go for it, Nate.
I'll jump first, because there's 3 things I want to mention. I did a rewatch of Rosemary's Baby. I haven't seen this movie in ages. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah, I rewatched it a couple of years ago. I'm super interested to hear what you have to say about this
I don't think
because
I've
I have
seen the film,
thoughts.
if you can believe it.
I
I've
saw
got to
this
see it.
movie in the mid-90s in college, and my expectations of this movie were something that this movie is not. I thought this was supposed to be some like horror movie, a la like The Exorcist
Right.
but this is really psychological horror. So I went into this with fresh eyes, and it made a world of difference. The basic plot, if anyone out there does not know, Mia Farrow is a wife. She's married to John Cassavetes, and they move into an upscale neighborhood in the Upper West Side. I'm sure most listeners know the premise, but if not, I don't want to spoil too much of this. But well, it is a 55-year-old movie, so you know. Anyways, what this movie really isn't, it's not so much a horror movie in the traditional sense, but a critique on the oppression and the manipulation of women, particularly in the context of reproductive rights, which I never really thought about ever, you know, when I watched this the first
Well,
time.
kind of the way that The Exorcist, which you just brought up, is a critique of mental health.
Yeah. Much of the subtext went right over my head the first time I watched this back in my early 20s, and seeing this now, especially with the current climate, with what's happening with Roe v. Wade, this film, I think, is even more prescient than ever. So I'm thankful I got to revisit this because now I kind of understand why it's considered one of the greatest films of all time. I had a really good time watching this. It really made me think a lot. So there's a lot of other things I want to talk about tonight, but I really loved this movie now seeing it appropriately. And I got to see this on a Blu-ray as well, which I think I saw this probably on cable in the 90s. So this looked really good. It was, I took it out of my library. They have a Criterion version of it. So I got to see all the documentaries that came with it and stuff. So
Nice.
it's really, really cool.
John Cassavetes deserves to be seen in high resolution.
And I'll go again, but anyone else have something they want to mention?
Totally different vibes to Rosemary's Baby. I went to the theater this week and I saw Babes, which was super fun.
It's sequel to Babe, right? Or The
yeah,
Babe.
That's right. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
No, you know, it's good to see just an out and out comedy in the theaters. It kind of was reminiscent of Bridesmaids for me, which I'm sure that's floating around a lot. I haven't read a lot of the reviews on this film yet. Like a perfect movie? No. It's a good movie to go. Good Tuesday night movie. You know, just go see it, go hang out. It was funny. I really like Alana Glazer. I think she's awesome. So I was glad to see it. Yeah, fun time.
Awesome.
So because it was the 25th anniversary of The Phantom Menace, which I can't believe that much time has passed, I went and saw that. And honestly, I really had the same reaction that I did to the film the first time. I feel it's like overstuffed with like early CGI, some of which is good, some of which isn't. The dialogue is kind of dull, but I do see George Lucas's interest in like geopolitical situations and how like the Senate can be manipulated, and he's really interested in that, but he focuses more on that than the storytelling. I must say that it does have two excellent like set pieces from Star Wars lore. It's the pod race as well as the battle with Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan at the end of the film. So those are always going to be amazing to me. I actually like Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith more. I prefer those films. But I will say, lastly, the funnest part of going back to see the movie was not necessarily the movie itself, but it brought back so many memories of 1999 that I hadn't thought about. And so I was like, oh, I remember seeing this at that age and this. So like there was a nostalgia factor. So it was fun. I'm glad I went and saw it.
Great. Are all three prequels coming to the theater, or did they already come in and out? I thought they were.
They've been like they've come in and out a lot, but I think they'll probably do like so. The 25th anniversary for Attack of the Clones will be like 2 years from now, and then for Revenge of the Sith, like I'm sure they'll have it for everyone.
I thought I read that all three of them are coming out like one after the other this spring or fall, this summer or something.
If they are, that'd be great. I would prefer to see the other two. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
All right. All right, I'll mention another thing that I saw. This might be spoiling our mid-year top 5, but there's always a chance that things could be shuffled around. But right now, this is my favorite film of the year. It is Love Lies Bleeding, Rose Glass. It has its roots deeply, I think, in the Coen brothers aesthetic. Have you all heard the theory that all of their films are in a shared universe?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I feel like this is only internet theory, and the Coens have never confirmed this.
Right.
But I personally would like, I buy into this. If that's a true fact, Love Lies Bleeding feels like it could share that universe, possibly living adjacently to the events happening a few towns over from what's happening in Raising Arizona or Blood Simple. This stars Kristen Stewart, who I think is perfect in this film. And who else is in this? I forget the other actress's name. Well, anyways, so one day, yeah, I think she is going to get the recognition she deserves. But also, Katie O'Brien was also terrific in this. And the supporting cast, Ed Harris, Dave Franco, Jenna Malone is in this. A few months ago, one of my most anticipated movies of the year really disappointed me, Drive Away Dolls. And this feels like it's, every couple of years is like the doppelganger film that comes out.
Yeah.
This is the much better film about a female couple who are on their road trip and they get in, over the head in the world of crime. Highest of recommendations. I love this movie. This probably will definitely be on my top 10 list at the end of the year.
Nice.
So I love this film.
I have heard so much about this film and I haven't seen it yet. And I don't know what's taking me so long. I love Kristen Stewart. It sounds right up my street. I got to get to it, man.
Yeah.
This is the motivation I need.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Instead, I watched Jim Henson's Idea Man, and it was tepid, fine. It's good to watch, footage of Jim Henson and his kids. I like that they shone such a light on their mom's work and how instrumental she was. They really glossed over the Disney stuff. It was fine. It's fine.
Okay. I'm really excited about that. I was hoping for more, but I'll have to watch it.
I'm hearing some average things.
I love Jim Henson, but yeah.
Me too. I'm a huge Jim Henson fan, and I think, it's nice to sort of watch a compilation of his work. So I think if you go into it with that expectation as opposed to like a really great toothy documentary, you're not going to get that.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Sam, anything else you want to mention?
So top 5, you mean, or?
Well, no, just anything in the month of May.
God, I saw nothing. In fact, I feel like I represent the average moviegoer because I just didn't get.
According to the Hollywood Reporter, I think you're supposed to watch. What was it supposed to be like? 2 movies a month in order to support the industry. No, one or something like that. Or no, 12. I forget. There's a report on how many movies the average adult person should watch a year to support the industry. And it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but maybe if you think about it, it is.
Yeah. I saw Fury Road and I thought about seeing If, and then I was like, I actually do really want to see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That's the one. That's actually, of those films, that's like the most robust box office in May. And like, it got decent reviews and like, I'm going to get to the theater and see that.
Yeah.
But I missed The Fall Guy. I'm sure it looked good, but
it's probably already streaming.
Yeah.
I saw I think 25 movies this month, but they weren't all in theaters, so I don't know if that counts. A lot of them were exploitation, Australian New Wave stuff. So if anybody wants some recommendations for those movies, I've got Letterboxd list. Some of them were a really good time.
All right, I have one last thing I want to mention that I saw. I saw Late Night with the Devil. This is a one-of-a-kind movie. It's kind of a horror faux documentary found footage film, but it's so much more than that. I recommend everybody go out and seek this one out. It stars one of our most underused character actors, David Dastmalchian, who portrays a 1970s late night talk show host, Jack Delroy. Without spoiling anything, this entire movie is presented as if we're watching a found footage lost episode of one of his episodes of a show called Night Owls with Jack Delroy. This film is so good. It's so original. And I was really blown away and surprised by everything that happens in this film. And I'm being intentionally vague because I think everyone just needs to see this. I don't want to spoil the plot of this, but just trust me, this film is great. David Dastmalchian needs more vehicles to showcase his talents. It's on Shudder right now, and you can also, I think, get it on VOD. But yeah,
love him in Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, he's great. He either needs a TV show or something. Like, I don't know. He's really good. So check this out. It really is great. That's it. I saw a couple other things. B, I don't know if there's anything else you want to mention.
I think we both saw Evil Does Not Exist.
Yes, we both.
How did you feel?
I haven't really formulated my thought. I mean, it's it's a slow, meandering, but really beautiful film. And I like the fact that it's going in one direction, and then characters who you think are just like minor characters end up being like the subject and the main characters in the movie. And then it has, well, I don't want to spoil the ending of it, but I'm really puzzled still what it means. And I actually started researching online what the ending means. And there are no answers.
Yeah.
And that kind of frustrated me, that it's a movie that seems to be so rooted and grounded, goes in a direction that is such a head-scratching ending.
See, I liked it because I thought the movie was very ethereal and dreamlike, and there's sort of this intangible quality about the ending. But I definitely left the theater a little unsatisfied, and it grew on me. But again, I think Drive My Car is the better movie.
By the way, I totally forgot to mention this at the Beverly Cinema in LA. This was in the month of May. I did see Clerks and Mallrats. They were having double features, so that was that was fun.
That's
it was
awesome.
good revisiting them.
That's a good night.
And I know Clerks is the more like well received, like like independent, like breakthrough film. But I do like I find Mallrats very amusing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And also, I saw part of Die Hard with a Vengeance on AMC, but then I fell asleep. But it was good.
And that's May, folks.
I won't let you down, folks.
All right. I think we are going to wrap it up there. And stay tuned for our June Pride episodes. We are going to be coming in next Monday with our first episode, which is The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, with our guest, Rob Kersey, who joined us. So keep your eyes out for that, and we'll see you next time.